Yeah, apologies.
It's another person.
Recording in progress.
It's me trying to do it from my phone. I just
Got
wanted
it.
to make sure the link works.
I think we're good.
Good.
We're good.
Yep.
Next on the agenda was Will Drucker and Christian Moreau, 42 Palmer Place. They were looking for a waiver. That was figured out with the design advisory board. They moved the building, so they didn't need a waiver. Oh, it'd be administrative. So we'll just take that off the list. Next up, Green Cow Cannabis, 508 Depot Street. Who will be testifying?
Yeah, John.
Swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yep.
Thanks.
Folks, thank you. So my name's John Bradley, resident here for 10 years. I own Bradley's Ski Shop up the street. And I'm here, yes, to apply for a change of use to start a cannabis retail dispensary at 508 Depot, which is the famous Kilburn's convenience store, the old tile place. I have a long-term lease there. And so, yeah, in terms of, I'll just kind of go down the list and feel free to ask questions. In terms of there'll be no change to the existing site plan, no change to the landscaping at all. There'll be some minor cosmetic interior, what's called the build out, which I'll explain as we go. I guess the first part, and there's the site plan, I guess I'll address the parking and the traffic flow first. In working with Elias and Peter, they've been very helpful, and we determined that I need a square footage, I think 8 to 9 parking spaces. And as it stands now, there's ample parking. There's 36 permitted parking spaces in the site plan available to use. And what I'm proposing, and we talked, there's a back lot, as you see, the bottom middle says employee parking. I'm proposing that all my employees, including myself, park there. There's 12 spots available, so plenty of in there, and it's not even utilized at this point. I think they might take some deliveries back there, but I'm so sorry. Let me get rid of that.
That'd be out by the loading ramp out back there.
There is, I believe, yeah.
It was a ramp.
Once in a while, a lot of the deliveries are up front, but I think there is a place back there that I've seen, but that wouldn't affect the parking because that's close to the building, as you see. And then that way, so I'm guessing 4 employees, including myself at this point. And then remaining 5 would be, and I've talked to them, up by the building, up to the left. Yeah. There's 4 spots right in the front, which I've talked to them. That's going to be designated for my customers. And then 1 in the main parking spot, which there's 20 spots available there. So I think obviously the 36 spots gives us plenty of room. In terms of the traffic flow, as you see, there's a counterclockwise in entrance up by the top arrow around, and then you go out up onto Depot Street. And that's been the traffic flow for as long as I've known it. I mean, and there hasn't been a problem in that respect.
So you've got 4 places to the west.
To the bottom, yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry, up top. Yeah, there's 4 there that are available.
only question I've got there is, I think we'd have to measure and look at it, but I think that's going to a little bit impede with the entrance to the property. I mean, it looks like it there.
Right.
And I'd like to measure it, make sure that's.
Sure. I mean, if in fact that's an issue, obviously, I mean, which we'll do, but then we could utilize, I mean, there's 20 spots available in the main parking lot if we had to. Are you saying eliminate a couple near the road there?
Well, I think I'd like to look at it a little closer, was it the 4 spaces you've got on the west side of
Right.
the property?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's going to make it kind of tight for the incoming traffic.
Sure.
Some guys come in with trailers and whatnot.
Sure.
Actually, there's a trailer right in the parking lot, in the picture we have.
sure.
And it might be kind of tight for someone to get in there without going out into the other lane.
Sure. And in this, these are just recommendations. I mean, if in fact that's the case, which is fine, if that's what we determine, we could transfer those into the main block where there's 20 spots. If need be. I mean,
And I
that's
just,
not a problem.
it'd be worth, before we approve this plan, I'd like to look at it.
Sure.
Make sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I guess, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but if in fact that's determined, can we switch those 4 spots to the main?
As long as, and I think Peter was gonna put together, or maybe he did, total parking requirement for what's there now.
We
plus-
just based it on square footage of the building. So you're only going to be having the downstairs.
Yeah. I think we determined 250 square feet equals, you have to have 1 parking space, I think is how we did it.
You said you needed 9 spaces?
Yeah, needed
I think we did 9, yeah.
And what
The
does
math right.
or require?
That was the next question I had for John is, do you know what the owner is anticipating keeping for other
Well,
issues?
apparently, when we discussed it, I said, look, here's what the town has told me. I need 9 spots.
Mhm.
And we're gonna use, like I said, the back lot. I mean, theoretically, we could use more of the back lot, but I just thought I'd use it for my employees because it's out of the way. And I'll get into when there are deliveries, that's when they'll park there
No.
to keep the congestion. And obviously, there won't be any 18-wheelers or any big trucks because I'm not that big. I've talked to people that I know that have cannabis stores now in Vermont, and it's really small SUVs, maybe a van. That's the biggest
They don't
thing.
come in a tractor trailer though.
Do that, then I'll be really doing well. But yeah, that's fine with me. I mean,
I think that's the way, where they used to deliver there, I think, when it was a tile shop. Didn't they deliver on the southwest corner
they
there?
may have, I don't know that,
I think
but
that's where most of the trucks used to.
I'll make it a prerequisite that my deliveries will be, in the back. Because again, it's maybe a 75-yard walk from there to the place. So, and like I said, all the deliveries are going to be that side entrance. And I'll get into that. I made notes that I was debating whether to have like the cannabis store that's open, they can enter from both, entrances. But I've decided for security, I'm just going to have the front because it's just better control with the
The
customer.
Main Street side.
The Main Street side will only be for customers and then the side will be for employees. That's what I thought. So, but yeah, that's fine. Luckily, like I said, I mean, there are 36 according to the site plan. And that's hopefully is going to be enough, I think it will.
Right, again, the question I had was just those spots there, I think it's,
Right.
I don't know if that's the right place to put them, because I think you're gonna have a hard time getting in.
Now, to be honest, in terms of, from what I see, not many people park there to begin with now as it is. Everyone goes in and there's so much room in the main.
Right,
So that's fine with me. I don't,
no,
Suggest a site visit or is that something?
we probably should
yeah,
look at it, and,
Well,
I mean, I don't know what kind of condition the back parking lot's in.
yeah.
I
It's,
haven't been out there for a while.
John, would you be willing to just eliminate those spots now and just allocate it to another?
sure, if that,
That would.
if you guys agree,
Eliminate it.
it's fine with me.
The only question though is we still need to find out what Kilburns or whatever it is, Sendra's, Kilburns,
What their intentions are for the other.
part of the building, but what's required for what they have there now.
I mean, that's fine with me. My point here is just to say there's ample parking based on what I need, but that's
Yeah,
fine with me. It's,
and like I said, the only concern I have is that it was a grocery store and an auto parts store, the few apartments upstairs,
behind.
and not if we grant your 9 spaces
Right,
for that.
Right.
And down the road, maybe they want to put an auto parts, something in there again. The owners should be aware that if they're going to be short on parking
right,
or not,
right.
At least they know where they're at.
Sure, sure.
We don't want to give you 9 spaces
Yeah,
and they're
fine with
going to
me.
be short 5, so they can't open that part of the store.
Yeah.
That was my only concern.
Sure.
Other than that, if you got rid of those 4, I wouldn't have an issue with getting rid of those.
Yeah, it's fine with me. Yeah, so then, of course, and the traffic flow is there, which I don't foresee any problems, and again, the entrances will be just for, the side will be for deliveries and for, for employees. And I guess now getting to the lighting of the outside, if I may, there won't be any changes to that. Other than let me explain. Lighting, yeah, so yeah, the lighting basically is pursuant to the section 9.53. Exterior lighting, downcast, of course, especially with the sign as we discussed today, but all lights will be downcast, and then not to exceed 3,000 K color temp. And they'll be extinguished by 10 PM. I think that's the town rule. The only thing I would request is to have some motion lights that would go on temporarily if there is motion. And I discussed it with the Vermont CCB for security reasons, in the back especially, and then at the entrances. I mean, that's a pretty busy intersection and lit up, but any more security I can get out of it, I'd request, especially the motion lights, if that's okay.
For the security for a moment, I mean, is it also requiring you to have some sort of central alarm?
Yes, so I'll start with that as well. The outside, when I said there's gonna be no change, there will add security cameras. That's a state law with the Cannabis Control Board. And when I met with them, it would be at least 2 at each entrance. And I'm suggesting a 3rd in the back behind. Because my personal, in looking at the site, that's the only way, if someone's gonna try to get in, they'll come in the back. And I think if we put a motion light and a security camera, the other thing I'd request, there's a window on the back. It's nothing to do with me because it's upstairs, but I've talked to them, and until they do something different, I'd like to we'll frost it to keep it. That's part of the security, is frosting all the windows, which is a requirement. I just think it would be good to make that window, I mean, whether we board it up or barricade it, have some sort of added security. I just think that if in fact somebody tries, that's where they'll try. Just
You could, probably put bars in on the inside window, right?
something like that, yeah,
But not outside the building, but if you had them inside.
inside and
If they
frost it.
they break the glass, but they're not gonna get anywhere.
And I did, in my meeting, some have those aren't required, but I would suggest maybe that one, put it in just for added.
Whatever you do inside, we don't
Right.
dictate what you do
It
inside.
just would be an added level,
If you
because,
want bars on all the inside,
right. So but to answer your question, there's a big portion of it, and the rules obviously by Vermont Cannabis Control Board are very strict, so we're gonna have, we'll adhere to them as well as any issues you want, but that's a big one, and we will address that. We're gonna have security cameras on all the entrances, and on the inside, those security cameras will have to be at all points where the cannabis is handled, at the register, there'll be some, and I'll get into some of the display cases that we'll have, wherever the cannabis is handled. And then including, in terms of security, we need a dedicated secure room to store at the end of the day. It has to be in and locked, which we do have a room. One of the interior things that I'll explain is we're gonna put a pretty solid, secure door with a lock. That'll-
Again, the interior, we don't really have anything to say about the interior.
What's that?
That's, we don't really govern the inside of
Right,
it.
they do, they're.
They do. So it's the state's gonna tell you if you need a lock, that's the lock.
Well, I'm just, but that, yeah, we'll have it secured based on their recommendations. That's, because that's the law. And
And the motion lights, if you do motion lights outside, it'd be nice to have them so that the motion sensor part is only when someone's close to the building.
Right.
You see a lot of motion sensor.
Yeah,
People
don't want it flicking on all the time.
You drive by the house and the light comes on.
Right, right.
It'd be nice.
If if you all said, you know what, we don't want that, I mean, that's fine. Because I don't think they require it either, but I'm just thinking,
Oh, I mean, if it's just a motion light that goes on, if
That's all.
when it's close to the building,
yeah,
but if people are driving up down the road.
Right, right.
So we don't really want to see that.
I think in terms of the front and the side, it's gonna be secure from the standpoint it's lit up.
On the road, yeah.
But the back is what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
If that's okay, we'll put one back there and, yeah, but I see what you mean.
Brook in the back of the building,
What's that?
between the brook and
Yeah,
the building.
Yeah. Because there's we've cleaned it out, but there's, like you said, there's brush and
Oh, yeah.
that's the only weakness, but we're gonna make it secure, so. So, but anyways, that's the security situation.
If I recall, the last cannabis place that opened up, their central station or whoever it went to just went to the owner. So we had asked if it would also go to the police department.
I can request that. The one thing that in keeping with this discussion of the security cameras, we have to save all security footage for 30 days as per the state, because if in fact they want to be able to review it after 30 days, I guess they don't care, but that's their mandate. But I guess, I mean, I haven't looked into it specifically, but if that's something that
I think that's what the last.
we can do that.
Did it, and they agreed to it as well.
Yeah.
Why not?
It's fine with me. Yeah. 'Cause I'm sure they can plug it in just as easy. And then, yeah, in terms of, with the security, with this discussion, the main door will have to be manned by an employee continuously and checking IDs. And that's the other thing. We won't need it at the other location because that'll be locked only for employees and deliveries, but the front will have to be manned by an employee. And also, all the employees are screened and vetted before, through the state. They'll have to have IDs and all that. The gentleman that I've tapped to manage it is one of my managers at my shop, a very trusted employee for 10 years, but he'll be vetted as well. But yeah, that's part of the whole, and again, they're very strict and that's what we're going to go by is their rules as well. In terms of the interior, which we've discussed, but it won't be the build out, as they say, it's strictly, it'll be cosmetic, some shelving, some 2 glass display counters that'll be locked and manned. And I know that, like the Green Mountain, which is open, their displays aren't locked, but they can't be gotten to by the public. That's the main thing. That's all the state wants is you have to be handling the cannabis, not the customers, obviously. I think that's most of it. I'll open it up for questions. One of the things that we discussed, and we briefly touched on it, and we termed it the school separation, obviously.
So I was going to ask you.
Right, yeah, and I know that there's been discussion within the town, and I completely understand it. Specifically, how does the daycare center fit into the legal letter of the law, the black letter of the law, which is there is a daycare center across the street It's to get into that discussion, I've discussed it with the State Cannabis Board. I'm sorry, this is the gentleman, I guess he's having trouble getting on he's the lawyer handling my licensing issues.
Give us his email. We can send him an invite.
Yeah. Yes. And his company they've done close to 50% of all the Vermont cannabis, whether it's growers, so he's at the ready if we can get him. But in any case, getting back to the question, there's very strict guidelines for Vermont schools, accredited Vermont schools, which are elementary, middle school, high schools, various schools. The term daycare does not fall within that criteria. And so there's really, it's a non-issue from the standpoint, there is no law, it's not addressed. According to the Vermont Cannabis Board, that's considered another retail business. So it doesn't fall within the criteria, although I know, obviously it's a concern and a valid concern.
How old are the kids that go to the daycare?
I don't know, but I mean,
I'm just looking at the definition.
Right.
In our ordinance of a school,
right,
and school, it does say preschool, school providing educational services for children from 3 years of age until admissions in a primary school. So I don't know, I don't know.
Are they being educated or are they just being looked after?
I don't
But is it
know.
a school though?
I
You're
don't know.
looking up school.
the thing that I found through the Vermont, the cannabis and the Tim, hopefully we can get, he'll explain it, is the term itself in terms of the law, Vermont, a school versus a daycare. That's the wording. School is the issue, not a daycare. The
To be
two
accredited, right?
got to be accredited and licensed. It's got to be a licensed educational facility within the state, which daycares are not. I mean, they have to be licensed, obviously, but not, that doesn't fall within the criteria of cannabis
But
exclusion.
in our ordinance for cannabis, I don't have the copy of it when it was written. It doesn't mention anything about daycares. It just mentions schools.
Correct.
Okay.
Primary, elementary, secondary, post-secondary.
Well, here it says, it does say preschool. Ages 3 to,
Please
how-
have to be registered, accredited with, I guess, the state.
That would be one thing.
yes, I'm just looking at the definition in our,
Right, right,
it doesn't say accredited or not.
right,
It
right.
says school, so I don't,
Yeah.
again,
I'm
I'm
not a lawyer either. I'm just telling.
not a lawyer. I just,
That's some detail we could chase down with this.
Yeah.
With the daycare.
as long as, as long as that daycare doesn't fall under that category in our ordinance or the state's ordinance. Because I think how ours was written was, if I remember correctly, it came down from the state and that's how we
Right.
got to our part of the ordinance.
We
was
duplicated
Duplicated what
state
the state
requirement.
was. So if the state doesn't
I'd say,
do it that way, then
right. I mean, and like I said, I broached it with the state when I met with the cannabis board and got what's called pre-approved, which is good for me, but they said, yeah, that a daycare center in terms of the definition under Vermont cannabis law does not apply. It doesn't fall within the criteria is what they told me. And again, that's, they did say, obviously, it's very strict. If it is a school, it can't be within 500 feet and it can't be attached. In other words, if I was in a strip mall and I was 1,000 feet away, but if it was connected, then that's an issue as well.
Oh.
But being a standalone, I mean, not that it, again, it's a non-issue, but I did we're over 500 feet away anyways, but again, I get the public's,
So it is over 500 feet.
it is, but again, I get the public's,
Oh.
they have a right, and I'm just telling you what they've told me.
No,
So, and that's something,
just asking the question.
yeah, I got, and that's why Tim was gonna, I don't know if,
You just got on.
oh, he did get on.
Tim, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. I'm sorry, I was given the wrong Zoom link. I guess I was given the one for the design review board, so I do apologize about my late arrival. I was just able to find this one.
Hi, Tim, this is John.
Hi, John. Yeah, I had
So-
a few times I had the wrong, the email, the one you emailed me was from the sign hearing earlier today.
So it's good timing because we're right in the middle of discussing the school versus daycare and is it an issue? And I've explained to it isn't, but I'll let you take over.
Absolutely. Well, look at that. Timing was perfect. Well, hello, everybody. Unfortunately, I can't see the board, ladies and gentlemen of the board here. I think the law in here is very clear.
Just real quick, I just want to swear you in, swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
Absolutely, I do.
Thanks.
No problem whatsoever. I think the law on this has been made pretty much clear through both the Vermont Cannabis Control Board as well as the Vermont statutes. If I don't know what people have in front of them, but if you look at Rule 2.81 in the Vermont Cannabis Control Board rules, it's labeled buffer zones. Reads retail cannabis establishments shall not be located at a place where the sale of a regulated drug would constitute a violation of 18 VSA section 4237D. Cross-referencing to 18 VSA 4237D, and it defines the zone within a abutting property within, and let me just get there, abutting school property. The selling or dispensing of a regulated drug to a person on property abutting school property is a violation under this section. Only if it occurs within 500 feet of the school property. Property shall be considering abutting school property if it shares a boundary with school property or it is adjacent to school property and is separated only by a river, stream, or public highway. So the definition of a school is a school. There's really no separate definition. It certainly does not include daycare. And even if by chance there was an argument to be made that it would, the property is not abutting any daycare property. Therefore, the buffer zone does not apply in this matter. And there's no issue here whatsoever.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Tim.
No problem whatsoever.
Well, that's, I mean, he knows more than me, but that's what I've been told, including from the Vermont Cannabis Board. So,
John, do you have your state license yet, or you're in the?
no, we're in the process. So I've been pre-approved, as they say. So that for me is before the final step of being licensed, but we have to go through this process. And the thing that they're waiting on is we've discussed it, is a certificate of occupancy, but Peter has explained that it's changed here. Now it's a certificate of compliance. Is that correct? So that's, but whatever, that's what we're waiting for. But once we go through the process here, then I submit that, and then we still have to wait, and then they have to do a site inspection to make sure the security is intact. And then obviously I've been cleared, and they would have to clear whatever employees I decide, they'll clear them. There's a slight process to go through to get registered as an employee. And we'll do that, and then that's it. So it's very close, and I will say that it's getting close to 2 years. It's a difficult kind of process, but it's fine. I mean, as it should be. And so we're at the end of the process, and it's one of the final steps.
I guess the school is my question, or daycare, and then just I guess the parking.
Yeah,
Get that figured out.
sure.
I guess,
And will they restripe the parking lot? 'Cause I don't know if they've done that for a while.
Yeah, I guess,
They've
Yeah,
it's done, I think Doug did it a few years back, but
yeah, I can talk to the landlord about that.
It probably should be restriped and then just make, and again, I haven't been out to the back part of the parking lot for a while. But as long as that's in good shape, so you can
Yeah.
count that as parking. 'Cause
It is actually, it's interesting. When I signed the lease, I had, with the landlord, we regraded it. Jimmy Deo did it because, just to make sure
Yep.
it was graded and there's plenty of room. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously, you guys can take a look and, I think really, yeah, I don't know if the state is as concerned of that. I mean, this is more of a issue with you folks.
Right, and again, my only concern was that they only have the one store open now.
Right.
It's a bigger building, and we wouldn't want to allocate 9 spaces to the other building with the owner not
Yeah.
being aware that it might affect some other portions of his building. He might
Right.
put something in the other part of his building that he otherwise might want to do.
Just done a double check, 1,500. 250. Well, and we can discuss this more because we kind of did it in passing, but if it's 1,500 and it's 250 square feet for each parking space, I'm looking at 6.
There are additional things for like employees and stuff like that.
Okay, right. I didn't know, but
I think we,
yeah, either way,
If you got 5 employees, that's only one person that
that may increase. You're right. So I get it. So
Personal service.
no, that's legitimate. So yeah, that's something we can
Yeah.
deal with for sure.
So how does the state handle the second floor component? Or how are you guys, the landlord, because how do you separate? I mean, all the security that the state's requiring, so
Yeah.
what's the expectation for the second floor?
At this point, it's, as far as I know, it's just going to be for storage and then we're not going to use it. There is a doorway that leads up to the stairs. And what I want to do and what I've told him is I'm going to make it until there's another use for it.
That's my point.
Yeah, I told him that based on what we're trying to do, the state's not going to allow him to do anything. And
Yeah.
you can't let somebody come down or go upstairs. So
So basically, it's a non-usable
it's
space.
a non-usable space now. And it's interesting
The landlord knows that.
what's that?
The
He
landlord.
does. When I signed the lease, it was my understanding I was signing for the whole building. And then when I saw the lease, he said, well, no, I've decided it's going to be for the bottom, which is fine for me. It's more than enough room. And I said, well, the state is not going to let you do anything. He's like, well, then he thought he was going to, at some point, which is highly unlikely, create a separate entrance for another use. And I said, well, the state won't, it's up to you to deal with the state then. So to answer your question, it's going to be sealed off for my purposes. No one's going to be using it. There is no other way up other than going through and no one's going to be allowed to do that other than me and my employees. And we're not going to.
So Peter, you said the owner of the property submitted this application or
The owner of the property signed the application.
signed the application?
Yeah.
So he's
Well,
aware of the change.
He's
Yeah.
gonna change, so when we do write up a set of findings, I think we should have the owner of the property sign the findings as well as we have done our properties, because you're the tenant.
I'm the tenant, yeah.
And if he has ideas of doing something upstairs and say we have in the findings, nothing can happen upstairs.
Yeah,
We want him to be aware of,
that's fine with me.
Well,
I mean,
or is it more on the state level? I think
well,
it's a state
parking,
issue.
it's a state issue with parking and
Well, yeah, I mean, but the parking piece, assuming he can overcome that, I'm still wondering, the state's not gonna care about parking.
but the state won't,
if
it's not going to allow them to have,
if
That's
he-
the point. It's, I think.
the state's not gonna allow, but if, just say, for instance, the owner came to us, the owner of the property,
Right,
and wanted to do something upstairs,
they can't.
can't.
well, he can't from the state standpoint, but if we don't know that, I mean, if for some reason someone didn't know that that was the case, we could conceivably approve something up there. I think it's just safe.
Yeah, no,
for
it's
him-
good to be.
For him to sign it,
should be
he's
in
aware of
finance.
it.
Yeah.
No, that's no problem at all.
Yeah.
He's aware of it from the standpoint when we had him sign for this, for this discussion. He's aware of it, and I told him that, if whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna have to go through the state first.
Right.
Because of the cannabis, the laws that are so stringent.
No.
And he was like, yeah, no, it's okay, I'll figure it out. Like, I don't know. Again, it's none of my
Yeah,
business.
I know how that works. Having him sign it, so he's aware. I don't want to.
He's aware and that will
Thanks, sir.
officially make him aware when you sign it, yeah.
No,
That's fine, absolutely fine.
to be safe.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's always, anybody else got any questions? Any questions from the audience? Anybody else? Got a motion to close?
Make a motion. I'll make a motion to close.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And so just for what's the logistical,
We've got 45 days.
what's that?
We have 45 days to come up with a decision. Usually it's a lot quicker than that. But we'll just, I think the parking was one of the main
Sure.
issues. We get that all figured out. Should be
Good, right.
good to go.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Appreciate it.
Okay, next up, Courtney Callow, Manchester Farmers Market.
Did not.
Not on Zoom.
She is not.
Could be a no-show. Try.
You would think they'd, yeah,
I thought we.
we try calling, if Tim couldn't get on, I wonder if for some reason the wrong,
I don't know.
I did it on my
He
phone.
was-
I just used the link that's online. It worked.
He couldn't get on because he was on the TA.
He was on.
oh, okay.
He was, yeah,
Right.
John was on both agendas.
Let
me see if I can call Courtney real quick.
Do you want?
Oh, I have it.
Okay.
I mean, how did it go with the, select board meeting? What did they say about about the farmer's market move and all that? I mean, I didn't happen to get down there last Thursday, but I just,
Wow.
you said it was, traffic was a
It was
little bit.
packed. I mean, to their credit, I mean, there's gonna be a hit, but I do think parking's gonna be a problem.
Hmm.
They didn't have enough parking in the spots as it was. I mean, it's a good problem
But
to
but they
have.
did say, if I remember correctly, she said if there was an issue, they were going to have a deputy
Traffic
or
control.
traffic control, whoever it is.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, is there a possibility for them to tap then parking across the way at the miles because I mean, there's a crosswalk right there.
Yeah,
I mean, if somebody wants to go, I mean.
I know.
And Miles is willing to grant them that spot after hours.
now is that one of the crosswalks? I don't remember. Does that crosswalk have the blinking
No.
yellow light on it or no? I
You
would
have to,
almost,
you have to go to John's Corner
yeah.
to get to that blinking light.
I mean, if, I,
I mean, if they're gonna have traffic control.
They're gonna
it
have
has to be
traffic
over there
control.
Too.
that's, they should have someone at that crosswalk. I would,
Right, I agree.
because it's just people, I mean, we were there at the site visit and people go up and down the road pretty
Of course
quick.
not. And like I said, I mean, again, to their credit, it was booming.
Oh, no,
They
that's
did
good.
great. but
Yeah.
I do see parking being a little bit of a
I mean, it's
problem.
tough enough, like when the Miles people once in a while try to go across the street there.
I know.
Yeah, I was trying to come out of my, yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
And there's a
they
person
come
trying to
off the
walk
highway.
across the street, and it's, yeah, I don't wanna. And a lot of people who go to the farmer's market might have kids and.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, I think they gotta have traffic
Pretty
control
safe.
either way.
Well, give me a call back if you can make it, and we can probably even send you a Zoom, or give you guys an email. Thank you.
Okay,
Well,
Well, we'll just-
your cell phone.
we can go, we can hold on and see if she calls in. We see a couple other people in the audience, and is there other business or what's,
What's the agenda? Do you have anything else left on there?
it's
This is the last one, right?
Yeah.
yeah, did you have other business?
Yes.
Yes, please.
So my name's Karen Gariak, and I just have a couple questions. I have property rights to parking spaces at the Hampton Inn. And I'm under the impression that there's gonna be like a lot of development at our end with like Seasons and Hegs and Moonwink and the whole Christos thing. And I feel that, we should be warned and we should get the letters in the mail in regards to the meetings.
Are you on a butter to, which property are you talking about?
We own, Nippers.
Nippers, but what,
So I have parking spaces at the Hampton Inn,
okay,
Are you watching the meeting?
and the Hampton Inn is next to the Moonwink. It's across the street from Christos, and I think,
It's probably a private. Wouldn't that be a
well,
private
no, but
agreement?
if, I guess what the question is, does your property, and you could, Elias, maybe you could tell me the property for the warning of a meeting, is it just
It's a budding property owners.
so do you abut, does your property abut?
but my question is that I have deeded parking spaces at the Hampton Inn.
Okay.
Does that entitle me to know everyone else's business about what's going on?
I think,
Well, did
I don't-
Hampton Inn get notified?
I would have to look at our map to see, because it's like
Well,
a,
even if they did, I guess the point in my mind would be, it would be the responsibility then of the Hampton Inn to reach out to you, because that would have been a private agreement between you and them.
Okay.
See what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. No, I do. I just came for clarification.
I'm just
Trying to-
walking it through
No.
my head and in my
Trying to
mind, that's
understand.
where-
should provide a map at some point to show you who was notified. And it's just, if the properties are touching, you get notification
Isn't it like 100 feet
within 100 feet.
off of the property line in any direction gets
Far
notified?
away. Okay.
You
For
wouldn't,
her situation, I think the Hampton Inn should have then definitely reached out to all people that probably have rights.
Right.
Probably the only one.
We are the only one. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's it.
hey, thanks.
Thank
Take care.
so Courtney is home with COVID.
Did she call in on Zoom?
Jesus.
She can't make it.
Well,
Well, can she do
No.
Zoom though?
when I had COVID,
No.
I couldn't even sit up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Jesus.
then. Pretty bad. All right.
So
That's why I didn't make it
don't
last
know.
month.
she just asked if we could roll to the next meeting.
Oh, yeah. Again, the only,
Well,
well, we
They're-
can, they're gonna be
they're
open again for
Right.
4 more weeks.
right,
Yeah.
But you might want to talk to them,
that's interesting.
maybe go down tomorrow and look and see what the traffic's like. I didn't get a chance to go through last time. I guess John did.
Yeah,
I'll go tomorrow.
it was booming and they were
I can go.
doing very well. And the concern was, as we discussed that when we caught up, that the parking isn't going to be able to be accommodated in that spot, in that whole area over there. So we did discuss with her though, traffic control person being over there.
Okay.
And I think that they better be prepared to do that before this meeting is my expectation.
Yeah.
I mean, because now that we're aware
Well,
of
because
it,
what's our next?
well, 4 weeks, you're talking a month away.
Right, I know, but are we after the 4th of July? Because next meeting's in July.
It's even worse.
Did you do
You
a
know, What's,
emergency Zoom meeting?
Well, your call.
well, again, if she mentioned, or she or they, someone at the site visit mentioned that if it became an issue, they would have traffic control there.
Call her back and leave her a message.
I would just want to make sure that we do have some traffic
They're
control
taking
there
care of that.
Okay.
before it becomes an issue.
You think one person's enough to handle it?
In the what?
Control.
To handle the traffic control?
I don't know. It could be 1, 2, 5, I don't know.
Right,
I
so,
just want to make sure that when someone, whether one of you two guys or someone from the board goes down and looks at it, if we see there's an issue, I don't want there to be an issue.
yeah.
I mean, it was the same as when years ago, we had the Riley Rink, it would backed up all of Route 7 and
We'll be down there
that
tomorrow.
next meeting, or that next one, it was corrected.
We'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, again, being a good problem, but the problem that I see is there's gonna be a lot of, and it's not just traffic control in and out of our lot. It's basically
On the
coming
road.
coming off of, Depot Street right
Mhm.
there, making that turn in. I mean, you're gonna block, I mean, there was a good amount of traffic backed up coming into town. I mean, again, it's a good problem for them to have.
It's a very busy weekend. Do you think that that is?
Well, it might be,
Memorial.
it might be. I
But
don't
just,
know.
I did not personally see it, but it's worth it for someone to go out and take a
Right,
look
I
at it.
agree.
I just don't want anybody to get hurt, that's all.
We'll be down there tomorrow poking around at the,
Buy some vegetables or
stuff.
something.
So we get-
Tomorrow, Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday, so we can get a good parking spot.
So our next meeting is July,
Is that gonna be okay, July 3rd, or you want to move that one way or the other?
Wait, you want to bring? August, I'm gonna be gone for that first Wednesday, so I was gonna ask if you guys wanted to move that.
I think we can.
All right.
For you, we'll do it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's kind of pull you got out. How's that? So what would you advise? You want to do it this?
Third's fine with me.
That's fine for me.
It's fine with me.
So the next meeting, July 3rd.
Okay,
And then the August meeting,
the second Wednesday?
you want to do the second?
We just push it back 1 week.
One
Yeah,
week.
so the second Wednesday.
That's the 14th.
14th. I was good with everybody else, good?
Yeah.
Ray, good?
Does anybody have vacation coming up that you're not going to be available or?
I wish I did.
Yeah,
You-
exactly. Wish I was on the
I wish
inside.
I was having a
Anybody
vacation.
besides Tim have any time off?
Yeah.
It's the busy season.
What, anything on the agenda for the next? Coming up?
We have. Kirkmore has submitted a tentative,
Three housing units.
3 housing units for RK Miles properties. So we're gonna get that package
King
together.
Miles properties.
What was the address? Do you remember?
I can run and
Where
put,
the farmer's market is?
It was in back of the warehouse.
do I run? I can run.
Yeah.
I can get it.
You wanna grab it?
Yeah,
Well done.
yeah, it'll be quick.
Take 2 seconds. Oh, you need a key. You got a key?
So like multi-unit housing or?
3 buildings, and they look like they were 1 or 2 bedroom. So I think he's just trying to get, help the employee situation. I'm not sure if he's gonna maintain ownership of it, or I'm not sure how it's gonna work. I don't have.
Oh, wait, he's personally doing it?
I think he's personally doing it.
God, I don't know why it's beyond me that the 3 properties we have in town, it's just, they're so good buildings that you couldn't build them for 3 times what they're asking for them. And you could have you could have 3 apartments upstairs and it's crazy.
It's the right money for it.
Yeah, I know. And it's built.
It's built.
You can't build anything
right.
nowadays for.
And you got plenty of parking.
And there's plenty of parking.
I already threw it in the folder, but goes to the site maps right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't read that. What does that say?
This is the
You got
end.
good eyes. It's right on Depot Street.
Okay,
You got good eyes?
Yeah.
No, I cannot read that.
I need a bigger copy.
Does it say on the application? On the- Does it say,
Existing apartments, it says, is in the.
Oh, the
Huh.
existing.
Asphalt.
That's Depot Street.
So is that in back of H&R Block?
I don't know.
I'd have to look at it.
We'll figure it out.
application, where does it say project?
Maybe it's that, there's a building that Joe Miles owns just beyond Skunk Hollow.
This is on-
From there,
Oh, okay. So it's not,
BA and W well drilling.
oh, okay, okay. That makes more sense. It's not Miles Lumber Yard
787 Depot Street.
787, it still doesn't help.
We can
We'll
Google it.
figure it out.
We'll
We
figure
got
it out.
We got
It's
A month
3
to
units
figure it out.
of workforce housing.
I think we can wrap our heads around it.
I think you guys are more capable of handling that in a
Figure that
month.
out. Excellent. Sign it.
Terrific.
Any other questions from the audience? I got,
Peter had told me, Mr. Rice was gonna be here tonight, but
I thought he was gonna sneak back here and give us a talk to us. So I invited it, maybe you've forgotten. I asked him to come in for a preliminary discussion.
okay.
That's the,
Change. Change mixed use one, and mixed use two, or mixed use, the opposite.
you were the zoning change,
Oh, okay, right.
and we were gonna explore,
If it was,
potential.
what he wanted to do.
What he wanted to
Yeah,
do.
we don't even know what he wants to do.
I
Yeah.
forgot to actually sign the minutes. Yeah. There you go. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah, I'm sign off on
Yep.
the DAB.
Yep.
Yeah.
The lip under here, cross my leg.
Oh.
Thanks.
Is there anything else?
Huh?
But I think that's it.
Anything? Yeah, I was gonna ask you about what your thoughts were as a board for. There was some discussion about bunting, the flag type, red, white and blue.
No,
Any thoughts on that, one way or the other? Nobody's really complained about it, but I think in the past, the previous administrator would have flagged something that was moving or attracting somebody's attention and consider that a sign. I mean, you look at the definition of sign and it's kind of pretty broad. So I don't know if anybody has any objections to it and,
like I said, I talked to you earlier about it.
right,
I mean, I talked to Peter about it. Well,
What kind of sign are we talking?
it's not a sign, it's
Like
at the,
flags.
bunnies or whatever. She's got like on the edge of her awning, she hung a little, red, white and blue balance or whatever you want to call it. And off it and I
mean, we discussed it briefly at the design and I think the overall opinion was, I mean, do we really, if there's no ordinance in place covering it, it's something we want to address. And I thought
If it is, if it-
No, it wasn't, there's nothing there.
well, if there's nothing there, then like I told Peter, I would, if we get complaints about it, then
You
we
gotta
can
have an
look,
ordinance.
then we can look, if we get a complaint about it, then we could talk to
Right,
the,
right.
planning board
Right.
and they could incorporate it into our new ordinance.
Is
But
this a
if,
common thing that's going on?
and if it isn't, like I say, my thoughts are, and I, right, wrong, or different, but I mean, if it's not in the ordinance and nobody complains about it, I wouldn't really worry about it, but if people complain about it, then it's something we gotta look into. But if
I
it
agree.
doesn't bother
I
anybody,
agree.
I don't think we should have to write
Right,
ordinances just for the sake of writing them,
Right.
agreed.
but
So in that
that's
one
just my,
case
that's the way I
that you just
feel.
mentioned, was there a complaint on that?
there's been no complaints.
Oh,
And I don't really have a horse in the race. It was just going off and a gut feeling that the previous administrator would have taken that up,
oh, oh, I see.
called it out on it. So I had a discussion and got a little pushback. So I'm happy to not do anything until somebody decides that
Mhm.
there's a, legitimate complaint.
Makes sense.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, a motion to adjourn? Or motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Recording stopped.
And then when do we find out? Because next meeting is our new year.
yeah, we'll have all the rules and regs out for you guys. Actually, I can circulate them now or this week.
Who's up?
I'll have all that information. I sent out the rules and regs.
Look at that. I haven't even heard from this. I haven't heard from anybody.
Oh, you up?
I don't know if I'm up. I don't know.
It might be Tim's up.
Select board covered that.
It's only
in one of the
been 20
meetings.
something years.
Yeah, but I watched the Zoom meeting of the select board and they re-upped
Oh, they did?
everybody.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
was like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah, well, I
it's
do
nice of
remember
you
you
to
telling-
ask people if they even wanted to.
How did they do
It's just an
that?
automatic re-upping every, right?
Well,
I remember,
They're all
Ivan specifically
different.
said, they tried to pass it unanimously and Ivan said, no,
I'd like-
read
well,
all the names
well, no,
out.
they're
And
different because
so He went through and said, and some people were 2 years
it's a
behind already.
2-year.
So they're like,
whatever our
well,
terms
okay,
are,
this
2 or 3
person,
years.
so.
3-year term, it
And
starts.
Doing them
different
for this
costs
year.
For
and
different
that.
members.
start different
Now they're.
times.
so
But it
they
used to
went
be,
through
I
that.
gotta talk to.
The transition was
Really
really
think, again,
If you go to one
good.
town plan book.
Every
Take
time
the
someone's
time.
up,
It's a little bit
they should
erroneous.
spend a half hour, an hour with them like they used to all the time. Do you have any
So I wanted to
questions? Do
talk
you have any
about it.
concerns? Do you have any problems? Da, 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 whatever.
Yeah, they should make the effort.
I
I
just
mean,
think
just
it's
all you
good.
need is one person dedicated to be.
Yeah, for an hour. That's not gonna kill them, half an hour.
Yeah.
See what everybody's talking
Then-
about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's no question.
Right.